This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Encompass Health, North Shore Community College, Leo Inc., Brotherhood Credit Union, and Deulis Brothers Construction.
Good morning and welcome back to another edition of the LCTV News. I'm your host, Danny Vittori, and if you're looking for versatility, then this is the program for you. Not only are we covering announcements from the city, but we also honored and celebrated contributions from several groups, including veterans. The Lowdown brings in youth programming, as Lynn Kayak And Sail came on to share more about their origin story and what they hope high schoolers will gain through this program. Here's the news for Friday, July 26, 2024. Adrian Pena, 18 of Lynn, was arrested by U.S. Marshal Services in the Dominican Republic in connection to a June 15th shooting that killed 17-year-old Kai Burgess. Lynn police found Burgess suffering from a gunshot wound inside a crashed car. He was then transported to Salem Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Pena was apprehended on a fugitive from justice charge and will be arraigned in court in Miami. According to the Essex County District Attorney's Office, Pena will not be arraigned on any other charges unless he is extradited to Massachusetts, which has not yet been determined. In addition to the Lynn Police and U.S. Marshal Services, the Massachusetts State Police Violent Fugitive Apprehension Section, the State Police Detective Unit, and law enforcement officials in the DR contributed to the investigation. In a statement released by Essex County DA Paul Tucker, quote, "We look forward to prosecuting this case to achieve justice and hopefully some measure of peace for Kai Burgess's family," end quote. Family and kids alike filled Manning Field for the Lynn Police Department's Physical Fitness Day last Friday. In addition to playing kickball and trying the long jump, they also got the chance to learn more about programs run by the police department and outreach they do within the youth community.
We're here today at the outstanding Manning Field, where we're having the Lynn Police Youth Physical Fitness Day. I want to thank the Lynn Parks and Recreation for supporting us, and the Lynn Fire Department, who are also here today. And we're holding this event, as well as a bike safety event, next Friday, July 26th, to provide an opportunity for our officers to connect with the kids in the community in a positive way, to demonstrate some safety and some healthy ways to live and engage, and to really build those relationships that are so important, so that the kids and all the community knows that we're here for them, not just when there are problems, but also throughout the year.
So the purpose behind the event today is basically to interact with the community, get out there, meet these kids, give them some positive experiences. We have several things planned. We have a kickball game that we're going to be doing, push-ups, sit-ups. We have a nutrition table. We brought some people in from UMass to teach some kids about nutrition.
Youth Services is a section in the Lynn Police Department. We primarily deal with youth crimes, youth victims. Our gang unit is based out of the Youth Services. We also deal with, well, not deal, but we work with the community engagement with the children, everything from bike safety to events like this one.
I'm actually here today on CIT, so that's a program that we run during the summertime where all of us that are in 9-to-5 jobs kind of put back on the uniform and get out there and mix it up with everybody, walk around.
Things like this is so important for our kids and, you know, the police to engage with one another and just form like special bonds.
I wanted to volunteer in an event like this today to show people that look like me that this would be a good time for everybody. We can all have fun. It's going to be a positive engagement with the community.
We're here representing the Lynn Fire Department with our spray house out front. They come out, the young kids come out and check out the truck, and throw a little water and have some fun today.
Hopefully they'll want to join us someday and be the next generation of police officers.
Work is ongoing to target potential sources and solutions for issues that have kept Kings Beach closed due to elevated bacteria levels. The next chapter in this saga included temporarily placing closed-circuit cameras in 21 miles of storm drains for inspection and cleaning. 5 small connections between sewer drains and the beach were pulled, but no glaring issues were found, according to the Lynn Water and Sewer Commission Executive Director Daniel O'Neill. The company, Kleinfelder, has been working with Swampscott to identify and analyze alternative approaches to decrease water quality issues. Extending the outfall from Stacy Brook deeper into the ocean or implementing ultraviolet light to disinfect the water are possible solutions being explored by Lynn. The state delegation also secured $5 million in ARPA funding to help with the Kings Beach cleanup, directed to both Swampscott and Lynn. Currently, the water quality is tested daily at 3 locations along the beach, with the results posted on an interactive dashboard at mass.gov. On the beach itself, flags are flown as either safe to swim with blue or not safe to swim with red flags. As demand for English learning classes increases, so too must the supply. Therefore, Lynn Public Schools is providing Pathways with $50,000 in ARPA funding to support a new ESLO class for 15 adults aged 17 to 24. The class began on June 3rd and will run 35 weeks, meeting 3 times a week for 3 hours, and is taught by a Pathways instructor. These classes help newcomers better integrate into the city, grow in their careers, and have access to bigger and better opportunities, as stated by Pathways Executive Director Josh Shepard. Deputy Superintendent of Schools Marcel Goris added, quote, "Washington Elementary is a community school, and our intention is to offer resources that support the community. A sought-after resource in Lynn is access to English language classes for youth aged 17 to 24. Increasing English language fluency for this age group opens additional opportunities to training, college, and employment," end quote. Pathways is also running a class for unaccompanied minors, where they will learn English and practical skills for the classroom. It began on July 8th and is running for 8 weeks, also 3 times a week for 3 hours. EDIC held the 4th annual Veterans Freedom Fish Lynn over the weekend, with more than 100 veterans participating in the event. Beginning with either a morning fishing trip or cruise, the day concluded at Blossom Street Pier, where fish were weighed and measured to determine winners. All participants received a meal and the chance to participate in a raffle to raise money for local and state veteran organizations.
We are standing here at our 4th annual fishing derby. This is an event, it's our favorite event of the year. We have a couple of goals. Number one, to provide a day of relaxation and fun for our veterans that have done so much for us. So they're either fishing or they're going out on a cruise ship. We had almost 50 boats, and so those are boats over here at the Yacht Club or Seaport Marina that donated their boats, donated their fishing gear, donated the gasoline, took veterans out fishing all day long. It doesn't work without them. So thank you. A big shout out to the captains that donated everything. Jim Walsh owns the American Classic, the Walsh family. They donated their ship today. We had over 50 veterans go out for a nice cruise for the day. They saw 2 whales. They saw, some of the local fishermen saw a tuna, which is very rare in this part.
My first time, like I said, moved here a year ago, and through my work Veterans Network found out about this event. And my dad just conveniently happened to be in Newport at the time, hop, skipping, and jump from here. They said, sounds like something we'd be interested in, so signed us both up. We got a lunch fish. Yeah. Personal best for both of us.
Yeah, it was a fantastic day. I'm known throughout our family as the world's worst fisherman. Easily the best day fishing
I can confirm
ever
that.
had. Yeah, Dave was actually leading the tournament with
for a little bit.
A 38.5 incher for a little while. But a beautiful day, terrific crew and skipper on the boat, and overall just a great day to be out on the water.
When they come back, they have a nice meal. Brothers Deli of Lynn donated all of the food, so we're really happy with that. And then the major goal we have, and why we're doing this, not only to give back to the veterans, but to raise money. And this year, we were able to give out $20,000. $10,000 went to the Lynn Veterans Council, for the local veterans, and another $10,000 went out to disabled and limbless veterans. So it's a home run. It's an annual event. We definitely will be back bigger and better next year. So.
And the home of the brave.
On the Road with the Lynn Public Health Van is an initiative put forth by the Lynn Public Health Department to update the community on events where they will be present. This roadmap is always being updated as they receive requests from local organizations to participate in their events. At this time, upcoming events are the Summer Farmers Market, the Veterans Beach Party on July 27th, Salvation Army Back to School event on August 29th, and the Lynn Side Out Festival on September 7th. If any local organizations have upcoming events where they want the health department present, they are encouraged to contact them via email or phone. The Lynn Public Library was officially dedicated in memory of the former late Lynn Mayor Patrick McManus. During his tenure from 1992 to 2001, which remains the most consecutive terms ever served, he directed $10.7 million in city funds to the library. Here is a clip from the event.
Pat is the only person to ever earn an Agganis scholarship, play in the Agganis All-Star football game, and become a trustee of the foundation. The reason I bring that up is because that's a reflection on how important education was to him.
Mayor McManus clearly loved the library and was passionate about education. And we hope to continue to grow and cultivate that love of learning in everyone who walks through these doors and will be walking by this plaque. As Ted mentioned, I did not have the privilege of knowing Mayor McManus personally, but his reputation and record continues to have significant impact on our city.
Naming the library after him is very appropriate. He loved this building. As a matter of fact, we all love this building. Our whole family spent days combing through the stacks looking for books that we hadn't read before. It was an outing. And this is, in my estimate and in Pat's estimate, the most beautiful public building that we have here in the city of Lynn. So on behalf of the family, I thank you all. And the family appreciates this great honor for granting Pat's desired legacy. Thank you.
At their most recent meeting, the City Council received an update on the Opioid Working Group's progress. According to opioid prevention specialist Candice McClory, 205 people participated in a targeted survey encompassing a wide range of demographics in the city. In their survey, not knowing where to access treatment, the cost of treatment, feeling stigmatized for using it, and not being able to understand services due to language barriers were the most prominent barriers to accessing treatment. The next step for the working group is to release a notice of $250,000 in funding available that organizations can apply to either enhance their recovery services or offer more non-traditional options. They are also working on installing a harm reduction vending machine, which would include Narcan, sharp containers, hygiene kits, fentanyl test strips, and water, to name a few. The machine would also record which items are dispensed, so funding can be directed towards the most pressing resources. The 34th annual ADA Day celebration was held at City Hall this past week. Signed into law on July 26, 1990, it was the first piece of federal legislation to protect those with disabilities from discrimination. Now, all these years later, we reflect on the progress we have made and the long journey we still have ahead of us by sharing available resources within the community and raising the disability pride flag. July 25th, 2024 marks 34 years since the Americans with Disabilities Act was signed into law. As stated on their website, the Americans with Disabilities Act is a federal civil rights law that prohibits discrimination against people with disabilities in everyday activities. The ADA prohibits discrimination on the basis of disability, just as other civil rights laws prohibit discrimination on the basis of race, color, sex, national origin, age, and religion. The ADA guarantees that people with disabilities have the same opportunities as everyone else to enjoy employment opportunities, purchase goods and services, and participate in state and local government programs. In celebration of this historic event, the Lynn Disability Network and Caring Hearts Special Rights Group put on their annual celebration, highlighting Lynn's diverse and inclusive community, as well as their available resources. Several tables stretched across the lawn in front of City Hall, offering services to those with disabilities and their families, topped off by speeches and a flag-raising ceremony. For LCTV News, I'm Danny Vittori. On deck, the sports update. The Lynn Babe Ruth 15 to 16-year-olds advanced all the way to the regional semifinals, but that is where their run would end. Over the weekends, they completed pool play at 2-1, with the top seed in their bracket headed into the semis. They lapped Vermont 11-0 on Saturday, plating 9 in the second to bat around the order. 8 different players recorded a hit, led by Maxwell Parent and Devin Duval with 2 apiece. However, on Sunday, they ran into a wall, falling to New Hampshire 10-4. 5 Lynn players again recorded hits, but it was not enough to overcome the deficit. The final score for the semifinals, 4-2, favored Pittsfield. Down 4-0 in the 6th, Lynn did make it a contest, plating 2 in the final inning, but they were out-hit 5-6 and unable to capitalize on opportunities. While the All-Star break appears to have killed the Red Sox momentum as they went 1-4 to begin the second half of the season, including being swept by the LA Dodgers and losing in 12 innings 9-8 to the Colorado Rockies. Their one win came on the 23rd, shutting out the Rockies 6-0, highlighted by a 2-home run, 3 RBI night for Tyler O'Neill, one of which flew 465 feet, the longest in his career and 5th longest in Sox history. But the finale was ugly, with Boston losing 20-7, which is the most runs they have ever given up in an interleague game. Lynn Kayak and Sail was founded a few years ago as a way to better connect youth with the water, encouraging them to take advantage of living right next to the Atlantic Ocean by guiding the general public on weekend kayaking trips. One of the organizers and students came on the Lowdown to discuss how being a part of the nonprofit has affected their lives. Here is the Lowdown. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we have on a newer organization, Kayak and Sail Lynn. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having us, Danny.
So would you mind just introducing yourselves real quick?
Sure. Frank Grealish, I'm the director of Kayak and Sail Lynn and a teacher over at Lynn English High School.
Great.
Jaleel Khamis and a student at Lynn English.
Awesome. So this organization's been around for about 2 years now or so. What was the initial reasoning for starting it?
Well, initially, myself and a couple of former students wanted to get more Lynners on the water, with the thought being not enough connect to it. Mm-hmm. And basically, I just did kind of like informal surveys, if you will, over at English High School. And I'm sure I speak for the other high schools throughout the city. Just our kids don't access the water, considering we're surrounded by it, as enough as we thought they could be able to. So we focused on 3 core groups: students, veterans, those with disabilities that would require an adaptive kayak. And the goal was, from the get-go, not to charge any of those 3 groups. So that on the weekends we would have, for folks that had the ability to pay, they would pay, and they would fuel the other programs so that those other groups could access the water free of charge at any time.
Right. And then, Jaleel, how did you become involved initially?
I initially got involved by Mr. Grealish over here. I was in his English class. That's pretty much how I got involved. I'm like, opportunity to build a boat, that sounds pretty cool.
So you just mentioned boat building, so it's a combination of going out in the water and kayaking, but then you also have a whole separate thing of boat building. How does that work?
Go ahead, how's it work? Oh, what did you do as boat building?
Well, basically we came in from, was it 9 to 4?
Yep.
Yeah, we came into 9 to 4, got in, started building the boat. First we started with like the back of the boat, the transom. Then we like built it up from like this jig, which is like the frame, where we put on each panel, and then we like screw them all together. And then by the end, we had like pretty much almost finished boat the first time. And then the second time we started with a half complete boat, and then now we got fully built as well.
So it's a fully working rowboat. You can go out in the water with it.
Exactly. And you know, it's funny, I'm glad Jaleel jumped to it. So we're primarily in the kayak business, but just some things came together. Ted Diller down at the Brickyard Collaborative for years had been wanting to do this. So we reached out to Community Boat Building, and they've been doing it for 20 years. Wow. So they brought boat building to the Brickyard Collaborative, and Kayak and Sail Lynn brought students to it with that connection. So kayaking's still our core, but kind of through happenstance and honestly good fortune, the kids get to build the boat either from get-go or, like Jaleel said, just as good an opportunity, a boat that kind of went south, they got to rehabilitate. And that boat they've brought to fruition, and we'll launch Wednesday, June 12th. And the rowboat, so the kayaks are for students to use. The rowboats are for veterans. Okay. So Jaleel and his classmates will present the boat to General Andrea Gale Bennett to accept on behalf of Lynn veterans, but it's all the students doing everything. It's the students building the boats, honoring the veterans, and doing the whole program. Which is a great piece of it. I didn't realize that, I knew the student piece, but I didn't realize that the veterans and people with disabilities were another group. Sure. And kayaking is your core, so how does that schedule work? How would people sign up if they're interested? Do you want to handle that?
I think you can handle that.
Okay. Well, and then I'll have you say what you do on the water when you go kayaking. So basically, if folks were to go to kayakandsaillynn.org, we have a sign-up button there. Basically, the thing we love about kayaks, it's not like there's an engine to maintain, a sail to repair. We want them in use. So honestly, we were very lucky / blessed through the City of Lynn and American Recovery dollars. We were able to get just about all the equipment we need. So we want to utilize it. We want to use it. And same thing, the Brickyard was phenomenally helpful in providing us a container to store the kayaks in and to utilize them. So if folks go on, whenever there's demand, we'll meet them there, we'll get them out on the water. And I will say, if you ever have a chance, so we utilize the landing down at Blossom Street Extension, which is right next to the ferry. If you have a chance to see the container, some folks at Raw Arts, a collaboration of various folks at Raw Arts have painted a whale on both sides of it. So the container is actually kind of pretty, kind of nice to look at. And then once you get out on the water, how's it work?
We usually go like a preset route. Okay. Usually. Sometimes it varies depending how far some people want to go. Some people might want not to go that far so that we can bring them back. Usually it varies. And usually we go when it's fairly calm so no one like capsizes.
Yes, that is always the goal, bring them back. And I didn't realize, until you turn 18, you can't be a certified instructor, but you're still learning quite a bit about how to guide people in the way that kayaks work, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. So last season, and it was actually this time of year, a little earlier, the water was still in the 50s. And so Jaleel and his class, I'll call them classmates, did an 8-hour day of training, the full 8 hours. Wow. And they were troopers. So yeah, we'll wait for the day. We're really hoping, Danny, that obviously, Jaleel and his classmates have at least 1 or 2 more years with us, that they'll be mentors for kids coming in both kayaking and rowboat mentors and building the rowboats, and that they'll come back with us through college and keep working with us and working with the kids in Lynn.
Because I was curious, what is the age range for students? Is it high school and up, or?
Yeah, it's pretty much high school and up.
Yeah.
We did some like middle schoolers.
Yeah. So honestly, and again, it's because the kids and I kind of see each other at school and whatnot. It's tended to be high school kids, but when we announce things in the public, we tend to get a lot of middle schoolers, which is great. And on the weekends, we get full spectrum. We've had some veterans come out and join us, former students of mine. Councilwoman Nicole McLean has come out with her family. She's a veteran, of course. And that's who we want out with us. We want all Lynners out with us. That if you're looking for an opportunity to get out on the water, we want to present it, especially to students and veterans, but to all Lynners, to know that if they come down to Lynn Harbor, and we're trying to utilize Saugus River a little more, we're going to get a boat that can bring the kayaks over. Last year we did rainbows on the rivers for the activities here in June, and thankfully, you know, we had Jaleel and his brother Ali and a couple of the other guides. A clear majority of our folks, it's their first time ever being in a kayak. And these kids are great in kind of being great mentors, setting great example, and getting folks out in the water, making them feel comfortable. And like Jaleel alluded to, and he's 100% correct, like we were going to go out Saturday, it looks like the winds are going to be like 13, 14 knots. That means over 10 knots, there's whitecaps. When in doubt, we don't go out. So we're extremely sensitive to the weather. But every opportunity we have, like there's regulars, like when I say who wants to go out, I know he's going to raise his hand in the best of ways. And he's a great Pied Piper at school and other places to bring other folks in.
And you mentioned you go out on Saturdays, so what time do you usually launch? Kind of what are the hours? How long are the rides?
It's usually like an hour or so. Not too long, not too long. It usually starts like, I would say like 12.
Yeah, we kind of take the temperature, see who wants to go out when. So Jaleel might take some newcomers out. So to go in at the boat ramp where the ferry is, go down by the yacht clubs, go over on the back side of the hunt, and that's kind of a nice little hour-long tour. And then if he's with like his brother Ali and Cole and Jaden and some of the others who are regulars, Tony and Alex, they might paddle down to Point of Pines, bring the kayaks up on the beach, take a little swim, make more of a two-plus hour thing out of it. So it depends on who's with us, and these guys are great at kind of taking the pulse of that and doing the right tour.
Really varies based on skill level who's around, right? And will ask before I have to wrap it up, do you have some like favorite memory or favorite thing that you've really learned, either helping run the program or being involved in it?
Probably say my favorite memory is when we kayaked down and we got to the beach. There's like a bunch of horseshoe crabs around over there, like even baby horseshoe crabs and everything. So I would say that's my favorite moment.
That's really cool.
That was excellent. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and you know, it's funny, and this is kind of a surprise because I was really focused on kayak paddleboarding, which we are, like I say, but the boat building and the connection to veterans, and to have the kids build the boat, the pride in that, and the workmanship, and all the things they learn down at the brickyard, measuring, math, all that stuff, but showing up on time, putting your tools away. And when they present to the veterans, that's really cool. So it was a former student of mine, a Marine, that accepted the boat. And when these guys do that, it really clicks, and they really serve, and they carry the boat down for the veterans, let them get in the water. And I think, Jaleel, you'll sense it a lot because they're attuned to this. When General Bennett receives the boat, that's special.
Yeah, that is. That would be an incredibly special moment for you, the veterans, everyone involved.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And I will have to wrap up in a moment, but is there anything else that I hadn't mentioned that either of you wanted to say about the program?
I think I'm pretty good. I don't know about you.
Jaleel's so well spoken in class and otherwise. Yeah, just if you want to be around nice folks on the water, if you've been looking for an opportunity to get out on the water, be it Lynn Harbor or the Saugus River. And I'll say quickly, you know, when the rainbows on the river last year, it worked out so well. We just, you know, and again, just things clicked, because as they sometimes do. And as we're rounding the first bend, the eagle that's up there flies right over. And we've just had wonderful connections. And like I say, those kayaks are there. We don't want them sitting in the container. We want them out being utilized. And these folks, Jaleel and his classmates, love getting people out and love helping them and working with them. And so the more Lynners, the more students, the more veterans And we're really, this year too, I'll just say briefly, we really want to increase our abilities and through financing and different grant sources to get folks with disabilities. That's a strong goal of ours. And as you can imagine, that's honestly, frankly, it requires more funds. It's for those adaptive aspects to make the kayaks and whatnot more accessible to folks who need those adaptive equipment. But we're going to get there. We'll get there soon too.
And you've convinced me to want to try and check it out.
Come on, please.
So thanks again for coming on and really telling the community about this.
Thanks for having us.
Of course, anytime. And once again, I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. Next up, the community calendar. Join members of Gala for plein air painting at Red Rock Park from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on July 28th. This event is made possible through the Better Beaches Grant Program. All supplies will be provided, including brushes, paints, easels, and canvases. Run by Annette Sykes, this is a free, family-friendly event for those of all skill levels, while participants can spend as little time or as long as they wish before bringing their paintings home. The We Rise program is hosting a free summer empowerment program for girls from July 19th through August 30th. On Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., participants will engage in self-care sessions, STEM workshops, weekly field trips, and mentoring. The program takes place at 207 Linfield Street. Calling all movie lovers, join the city for a night of family-friendly films and free popcorn. Lynn is holding a series of free movie nights at various locations, one of which is happening on August 3rd at 8 p.m. featuring Barbie. Taking place at Goldfish Pond, come down for a night of entertainment. With that, we have wrapped up the news for this week and the month of July. Follow us on social media at Lynn Community Television for updates on community events, breaking news, and more information about LCTV. And go to our website, lyntv.org, for all staff and member content, the most comprehensive community calendar in the city, and videos on demand. For videos spanning from event coverage to interviews, head to Lynn Community Television on YouTube. And a shout out today to our interns Kimberly and Kaylee, who just completed their first news program as a team. I'm Danny Vittori, this is LCTV News, and we will see you next week.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Encompass Health, North Shore Community College, Leo Inc., Brotherhood Credit Union, and Deulis Brothers Construction.